How's it, everybody? Brother Kimo here from Reload Hawaii, and thank you for watching another video. If it's your first time here, thanks for stopping in. Please consider clicking that subscribe button down at the bottom, because tonight we're talking about how not to get ripped off if you have to go into a cell phone store. Before we get cranking, there was an update by T-Mobile. They're now including unlimited high definition streaming on their plan. So now what we can do is, because you don't need this $15 per line anymore, it's going to look like this. Pretty much back to normal. So here is the column with autopay. Here is the column without autopay. So that's $5 extra per line on 4 lines. That's how you get to these numbers. But there you go. There's your current lineup with AT&T. Probably going to be looking something like this this coming week. Okay, sorry. There's actually one more thing. There's this. Market capitalization. I want to talk about that very briefly. I had some people chime in and say, hey, you know what? You really should be talking about how big a corporation is if you want to know what the money is. And honestly, that's my fault because I've been doing it for so long. I already know what the stocks are going to do. And I like watching the stocks because it's more interactive than just kind of what this is. But going back to the first video, you can see here who has the most money to improve their network. Let's go over it. So what you're going to do is take the stock, whatever that it is, like 41.25, and times it by its shares outstanding, and you can find those numbers online. In fact, what I did when I looked under Sprint's number, all I did was I went Sprint shares outstanding, and then it gave me all the shares outstanding for whichever carrier that was there. So all you're gonna do is times it by that, and then that's how much money the company's worth. So you can see again down here, even though Verizon and Sprint have the same amount of shares outstanding, they're on this day they closed at $9. So guys, again, this is important to realize that when this carrier is making claims that they're somewhere near this one, it's probably not the case. In my general opinion, there's only a couple reasons why you should be going into a cell phone store. Like number one, billing. Talking to customer care and having them try to explain what's going on in the bill without having it in front of you is very difficult. Just go into the store and do it. Number two, troubleshooting. Okay, you never know what's going to go wrong with your phone. You get it, maybe your battery life's bad or whatever. Just take it in, get your troubleshoot done, and that's that. So that's the second reason. And then the last one, maybe you're not comfortable with giving your credit card out over the phone or over some crazy website, and that's where you would go to the payment kiosk to do that. Now, other than that, there is no reason to go in there because you can get your phones from online on whatever carrier's page. You can just order it, and you can even pre-order phones for the big releases like iPhone and Samsung. So the least amount of time that you can spend in the store, the better. That's just less time for them to sell you stuff. Okay, let's get into the tips and tricks to save you money and make sure that you don't get ripped off if you have to go into a cell phone store. So these are all things to help both sides, to help the rep and to help you out so you can get a faster transaction, spend less time in the store, because that's really what it is. The more amount of time you spend in the store, the worse it is for you. So let's start off with one of the ones I get a lot of questions about is indirect versus direct dealer. So an indirect dealer is like Best Buy, Walmart, or if there's an individual business set up aside like Go Wireless. Okay, it's important to know the difference. And how can you tell? When you look at the door where the hours are, they are mandatory. You got to put it up there, authorized dealer. If you just see Verizon, it's a corporate store. It's important because if you go to an indirect dealer, you can't take whatever that is and return it at a corporate store. The inventories are separate. It's two separate entities selling the same product. So even like this, right? Sometimes people will go into a indirect store and get their insurance, and then they would come to us because there's a location closer to them and be like, well, I can't see that insurance. You got to go back to that indirect dealer. So please, guys, to clear the air up, make sure that you're dealing with a corporate store versus an indirect store. My general opinion is always go to a corporate store because the employees there have more tenure. They're there longer. On the indirect side, they tend to turn them and burn them quickly. But there are some few nuggets out there that are really good that employ cell phone workers that were working for another cell phone carrier on the indirect side. Well, those are very hard to find. So normally I just say go to a corporate store to get your stuff done. Okay, this next one is a big one. You gotta back up your phones, okay? You just never know what's gonna happen. You don't know if it's gonna get lost or if the phone is gonna do something funky and erase it, or maybe the sales rep that's helping you on a troubleshoot erases all your stuff. If you have your phones backed up, it's gonna be a lot easier for everybody, especially when you go into upgrade, or maybe you have to hand in your phone. If you have to rely on the store's Wi-Fi or their Cellbrite machine and you have thousands of pictures, you could be in there for hours. And remember, the key is to get in and get out. Here's another one that I see quite often that I think is worth mentioning. Please understand that the carriers do not make the phone. Samsung makes their phones, Apple makes the phones. I used to have people go, "Oh, you guys have a bad phone." I'm like, "Hey, look, we are the carrier. The manufacturers make the phones. It's two separate things. It's our duty to take care of you, but they're two separate things." I think one of the most important things and often overlooked is have a good backup phone. That's going to solve all of your problems, okay? Here's one example right here. So let's say you have insurance on your plan and you do the claim on a Friday, right? They got overnight shipping is included, but Friday, Saturday they don't ship, Sunday they don't ship. You might get it on Monday depending on your schedule, not till Tuesday. So if you have a backup phone, you're not even stressing it. You do the claim, you reconnect your old phone, and you have communication until the new phone comes in. Now, normally, I don't recommend insurance anymore unless there's a specific feature on the phone that you have right now that you need, right? Like right now, I have insurance on my plan because I rely very heavily on the S7 camera. My backup phone has a crappier camera, so I don't want to rely on that too much. I need to get the phone in as soon as I can, which is a replacement that I will get from the insurance. So if you have a backup phone, it's going to allow you to do a lot of different things. Most importantly, you can ignore that $12 insurance feature that you have on your plan. Here's a common question I used to get all the time. Why is my bill so high, and how do I lower my bill? It's so high right now. Honestly, on level 1 stuff, common sense, stop adding crap onto your plan, okay? Like I just went over, if you have a good backup phone, you don't need insurance. You're just going to reconnect that old one if you lose it, and just ride that device payment out until it's close enough to buying out, and then you buy it out. Deductibles are $200, so if you want to look at it that way, you can just get it to a point where your device payment is like 8 months out or whatever, and then just pay it off if you want to pay it off. So if you have a good backup phone, it'll save you $12 a month. Stop adding it on there. Another thing too, when you look at it, is tablets. People will just buy tablets because they're free, but they have a connectivity fee. That's $10 a month. Now it's $20 per month. Don't buy it just because it's a good deal. Buy it because it's actually what you need and you're going to use. Like maybe you're a parent and you have a couple kids and they go totally bonkers in the car on road trips. I get it. Then you need a connected tablet. But I would say like 60 to 70% of the people that I help out don't even need it. They just got it because it was free or whatever. That's going to save you $10, $20 per month. You don't need it on your plan. And lastly, this is the big one. So these plans back here, like I said in the second video, or it might have been the first video, whatever, I'll just leave links on the bottom. This does not include your device payment plan. So you want to stay as close to this as possible. You get your phones, you put them on device payment, and you ride out the 24 months, and then your bill is going to go down to $200, $160, even $240, right? Now, carriers are always having promotions to lower that amount, but let's say your phones that you have right now are $25 per month and you have 4 lines. Well, now you're going to go $300, $260, and $340. So stop upgrading your phones. Unless there's a really good promotion that's going to give you to it for free, stop upgrading your phones. Keep your bill low as possible. And lastly, guys, this is probably the most important tip that I can give you. If you feel uncomfortable going into a cell phone store, and salespeople hate to hear this word or this phrase, but honestly, it's what should be happening anyway. And that phrase is, how much for just the phone? You got to start there. Make that salesperson tell you how much it is just for that phone. And then if from there you're interested in buying other stuff, then that's up to you. But what you want to do is isolate just the price of the phone. No accessories, no blah, 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 blah. Make them say how much it is for just the phone. And you don't need to buy accessories with it. You don't need to get, it's not a requirement to get accessories with the phone. You can get just the phone. You don't need to have a tablet with it. You don't have to have any other products that get attached to it with a monthly service. Just ask for how much for the phone. And honestly, what's going to be due is the tax on the phone, and the upgrade fee should not be more than $70. I see people getting jacked sideways all the time. Salespeople trying to get things together in a bundle so that it confuses the customer, and then they leave not knowing that they bought something with a monthly service. So please, guys, if you remember anything about this video, just remember how much for just the phone. Get your accessories from like eBay or Amazon. They're a hell of a lot cheaper anyway. Even if you have a discount with the carrier, not important. Get the phone, get in, and get out. You're going to be a lot happier. Guys, that's the ending of the video. I hope you found this 3-part series helpful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. If you liked the video, give me the thumbs up. And as always, I'll catch you later.